Remember during our last lesson, you read chapter 1 and you wrote down what you noticed and wondered about characters. As you read chapter 1, you should have noticed and wondered some things about the character Milo. So I'd like for you to review your notes and review what did you write down about what you noticed and wondered. We are going to open up our class notebook. This class notebook is where we're going to take a lot of our notes throughout the module. As we're reading the text, you're going to add to your chart and I will be able to see it. On the left-hand side is a content library. This is where I place all of the pages that I want you to work on. I have a template. So I want you to go to the content library and where it says character charts, I want you to make a copy. Once you have a copy of the character charts, you may notice that the overview is all the characters we're going to meet throughout the story. During chapter 1, we met Milo. And Milo is definitely a main character. He is the one who's going on this journey throughout the book. And so he's going to be different from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. So today we're going to use what the text says about Milo to add into our sticky notes. We are going to add an adjective and a quote to each sticky note. Each of the sticky notes describe Milo. So we're going to go back into the text and find some text evidence that proves what Milo is like. So I want you to take a second and go back into the text. Where do you see information about Milo? On page 9, I see where it says there was once a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. So based on this information, I can infer that Milo is a very bored child. So I'm going to add that to my sticky note. He never finds anything interesting to him. So based on what the text says, I infer that Milo is bored. I'm going to look back in the text for some more text evidence. Again on page 9, I see he regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of time of all. Based on this information, I can infer that Milo sees no value in learning. He doesn't see a purpose in learning math, spelling, or anything else for that matter. So here are two things that I see in the text that help me to infer about Milo. Take out the piece of paper that you gathered before you came into class today. At the top of the page, I want you to write chapter 2. And just like every time we read a chapter, we're going to make a notice and wonder chart that also has a section for characters and setting. So these might just be anything that we notice and wonder. But here specifically is where we're going to write down what we notice about characters. Here's where we're going to write what we wonder about characters. Here's what we notice about setting, and here's what we wonder about the setting. In chapter 2, you are going to meet some new characters. You're going to meet multiple characters, such as the Weatherman, the Lethargians, and Talk. And you're going to see new settings like expectations and the doldrums. So as you're reading, pay close attention to these characters. What do you notice and wonder about them? And then settings. What do you notice and wonder about these settings? Remember, I told you each character and setting that Milo encounters is going to be a play on words. So let's set you up for success by explaining some of the words you may need to know before you read this chapter. Do you notice that weatherman is spelled differently than the weather outside? Let's look at what this weather means. Remember, we learned about homophones, when two words sound the same but are spelled differently and have different meanings. So we know this weather, like rain, snow, sleet, hail, sunny, cloudy, the weather outside. But this weather means that it's expressing doubt or choice between alternatives. So he seemed undecided whether to go or stay in. So when we use this weather, there's options or choices. So pay close attention to how this word is a play on words for the weatherman, the character. Then I also said you're going to meet the lethargians, and something you need to know is lethargy is the lack of energy or enthusiasm. So when someone is lethargic, they have no energy, no enthusiasm. They seem very tired. Another word or phrase you need to know is, remember I told you there's a new setting, the doldrums, and the doldrums is an idiom. When you are in the doldrums, it means it's a state of being inactive or even lazy. So how does this definition help you understand the setting, the doldrums? And last but not least, expectations. Expectations is a place that Milo goes, but expectations means that you believe something's going to happen. You expect it to happen because you know that's what usually happens, or what you know to be true. So as you read chapter 2, please remember to write down what you notice and wonder about characters and settings.